welcome once again to Showtime at Japan Expert Insights. We are live once again. 2 weeks ago, we were not live because I was on a plane to Japan. And I'm just back from that, so I don't know what time it is. I feel like I want Japanese breakfast because even though it's 8 o'clock here in Chicago, 9 o'clock in New York, it is 10 a.m. in Tokyo and all places in Japan, actually. So it was a lovely trip. And so I know some of the people I met out in Japan are probably listening right now. And I want to name all of you, but I'm going to forget somebody's name and I'm going to hate myself for the next 3 weeks for that. So I'll just keep it pretty basic. To everyone I met, you were also delightful and amazing. I learned so much. I'm at that phase now where I've been back and forth to Japan a couple of times, and everybody was just so willing to give information and be insightful and delightful. And they took me to their favorite places. Many people like, oh, I like this. I like this restaurant in Japan, or you got to check out Okinawan ramen. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful time. So for all of you who are listening, who I had a chance to see in Japan, thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving me just such a wonderful 2 weeks. And I can't wait to go back. I didn't want to come back, but I have a dog I have to get back to. And he was starting to really wonder where the heck I was. And, I guess in dog years, if I'm gone 2 weeks, that's 3 months. So I don't know. He's been kind of attached at the hip. So the last couple of days. Now, today, as always, we have Maya Matsuoka.
Hi.
Live
Good morning.
in Tokyo. And we got a chance to see each other.
Yes, we did.
Live.
Yes.
The first time.
Finally. Yes.
It was so funny because I felt that with Ida-san, Moike Ida. I felt like, and even Stephanie, who I met, and Donnie Orialis, all these guys who I've just talked to, everybody.
Right.
It just felt like we're old friends. It was wonderful. It really, really was. And speaking of old friends, or I should say somebody who I got to know a couple of years ago, Takashi Horie, who was our guest today. He's a director, and I met him during one of his, I don't know if it was a premiere of The Last Passenger, but it was a Chicago showing of The Last Passenger.
Yes.
And then we have a mutual friend
Yes.
through, because you're working on the Bentenya Route 66 project.
Yes.
We'll get into shortly. The Last Passenger is a delightfully beautiful story. It's only an hour long, and we'll figure out where we can have everybody watch it. But it was a very moving presentation, and so many people who were there were Japanese who remember the Fukushima disaster, 2011. It was heart-wrenching, beautiful, wonderful story. And so
Thank you.
when I started this podcast, there was a dozen people, 10, 11, 12 people. I said, I got at some point get you on the podcast. And
Thank you.
And Horie-san was one of them. So Horie-san, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's such a great honor to be here. Thank you.
Now, you're based in New York, so it's 9 p.m. from you, but you didn't grow up in New York. You grew up in Sendai, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. What was your journey into, going from Sendai to becoming a director, cinematographer and writer, and end up in New York City?
It's to make it simple. I failed to all the tests to go up to a Japanese college, and then no college wanted to take me there, so I had nowhere to go. So I just kind of escaped to the States, and then here you go. I think it ended up a better way. I think if I go there, maybe I could be just Japanese businessman or something, and then doing not creative stuff. But because I moved to the States, okay, since I'm actually at the time when I was one of the high school teacher told me, "What? You're gonna go to the States and America, and then even you cannot speak English." Well, at the time I could just say ABCD or something like that, and hello or good morning, something like that. And he was like, "Are you kidding me? You're gonna ruin your life, So you better think about it." But I just didn't want to study twice to pass the college exam, and then. Okay, if I have to do that, I just want to move on to something different, and then it's opened up totally new adventure for me.
And were you always involved in the arts? Did you know you wanted to be a director and writer when you were young?
Actually, yeah, I like the movies, but when I came to the States, I wasn't thinking about doing, becoming a movie director or anything. But once I was interested in more like international politics or something like that.
Hmm.
And then I went to the West Coast actually, and then because first I moved to Hawaii to study language in ESL, and then I got the TOEFL, and then and I was barely past the like a community college level. So I went to Santa Monica College in Los Angeles, and then at the time I didn't have much. I was so, you know, I I didn't have much money, and then my pleasure was like going to the movie theater with my friends. With matinee was 375 or something. So I got one ticket, and then like I stayed all day, watching other movies. I think maybe it's not allowed nowadays, but at the time, they didn't care. So we are hopping the movies, and then so that kind of made me think, oh, since I'm in America, I want to study something that I can only study there. And then, at the time, UCLA, USC was the top school of the, top film school. And then, why not? Let me try that. And then, I luckily could get into USC film school. And then, so that's how I get started. And it was kind of really, dream major, because all I do is watching the film, and then study film. They say study, but it's like watching the film. So like I go to the library and watching the film, and then in the classroom I watch the film, and then then I actually make movies, short films. At the time it was not still non-digital. Like all we do is just like I made a film. I first made with Super 8, so I had to learn how to cut the film, and then after that I moved up to 60 millimeter, and then I edited 60 millimeter. There's a machine like like kind of sewing machine, and then I did juggling. Then I learned how to run the editing, and then after that, actually, usually people make thesis statement, and then that's kind of hook into industry something. But at the time, I just wanted to graduate, and then I want to do something. I want to make money, so I graduated film school, and then I formed company with my friends, like 3 friends, and they made a production company, and did a lot of like a coding, like a there at the time there are a lot of Japanese production company. Japanese people came from the Japan to make a TV commercials, and it is pretty good money. So I did coordinating job, and then besides on the top of that we did like started music video for the Los Angeles musicians. And at the time, there's actually I didn't know we don't have any connection, so we started put the advertisement on there's no web page or anything at the time. Every day, like there's a 7-Eleven, and then there's like a kind of, how can I say, like a paper magazine or something, like in a black and paper magazine that they were trading, selling and buying the used guitar, or like instruments or something. So we put the ad that let me make a music video for you guys, and that was the only time we had to put the ad to make a music video. So we got, and we got a chance to make a couple of music videos, and then it's kind of interesting. I like the like a heavy metal or like hard rock, so I was hoping to make like a Guns N' Roses music video, kind of something like that. But instead, I was getting more like rap music. There's a, like yes, like a South Central, like people like they are making raps or something, and then the rappers, they wanted like indie rappers, they wanted to make a music video, so they, I got more higher from those guys. So like it wasn't actually something I wanted to do, but it was really quite interesting to move in that direction. So yeah, and then eventually I actually I moved back to Hawaii, and then did all the I made a lot of wedding videos, and then at the time, finally, I looked into the digital videography and digital editing, and then so I tested out, and I got a lot, like really great experiences with the digital editing, and then the owner of the company was like really generous, and then I even had, like, at the time I was so much hook up with, hooked into editing. So even like 1 second editing, I took a whole day, and then like totally different kinds of variation, how it's gonna move. Like even like a one frame, change the totally different pace or something like. Then how it's gonna be. So I had a chance to experiment all the editing stuff. So it was really great experience. And then I wanted to move to New York because I wanted expand more. Right? I want to do something more different, like not only like wedding videography or tourist, wedding tourist video, but I want to do something more. I don't know, something different. So I moved to New York, and then but I wanted to make a movie, so I started lighting the film from after I moved to New York.
So you learned in the analog age. A couple of things, because that's always interesting to me, because I grew up in the analog age. I was right there in the cusp when, when I was first starting out, but I started really, really young. I was only like in high school, like grade school, high school, when I was like editing my own little videos. And that was still in the analog days. And then it moved right to digital. And so I always wonder, like, for people who've, or like, like us who learned in the analog way, do you think it gave you a competitive advantage because you were able to visualize more than the digital?
I don't know. It's like it's when you edit it with the Super 8, like usually, once you made a mistake cut, then it's gonna be hard to fix. So you really have to think, how you want to edit. So like first you have to visualize, and then so like before you edit, like you visualize, like okay, I start like, okay, 1, 2, 3, I cut to pace, and then okay, so I want to have a 3 seconds, so I need a 24 times 7, so like I don't know, 72 frames or something. So I count all the 72 frames and then cut it, and then see how it goes, and then I cut together everything, and then project it on the wall, how it goes. And sometimes if it doesn't work, I have to go back, and then I kind of fix, I put back tiny frames back to the film, and then but usually it's, I don't know, it was really good that, like, well, Super 8 projector sometimes stuck if the cut wasn't really meticulously good. It kind of stuck, and it burns the film. So like sometimes, like, you overnight you did homework and you finally complete the project, and then one more last time, I want to see it, and then I prayed it, and then it's stuck, and it burns the film, and then, oh my god, I lost like 10 seconds of the film or something. But those experiences, like I kind of, I don't know, it grows my the pace of the film, how I want to do. And so and then I could do it's more like even though it's analog, but you kind of cut and paste, move around, so it's more like you're thinking in a digital way, I think.
Your career too, starting off with like rap videos, it kind of reminds me of like Hiro Murai, although I don't know if Hiro Murai started in rap videos. I think I'm kind of fogging a little bit, once again, jet lag, sorry, about like where his career started, but I know he worked with Childish Gambino and doing This Is America and stuff. So you're kind of a predecessor in many ways, maybe to the path of other Japanese filmmakers coming down the line. And then so now you're in New York. Now I met you during the premiere for the film, and then that was The Last Passenger. And that was a beautiful little film. And so if you wouldn't mind, like, talking a little bit about how that project developed, and then we'll talk a little bit about, because there was 2 projects that night, and one was The Last Passenger, and then you had just started working on Ben 10 with 66, but The Last Passenger.
Yes, The Last Passenger was really personal film. I mean, even though it's a fiction narrative film, it was really more personal film because I grew up in Sendai. It's actually set in the Miyagi prefecture, and then at the time when the earthquake and tsunami happened, like 2011, I was in the New York, and then I was gonna go back to, because I kind of grew up in by the near coastal area, and then one day when in the morning I woke up, and then everybody, my friends, just started, I got messages from my friends that, are you okay, is your hometown okay or something, because they know that I'm from Miyagi. And then and then when I open up the Yahoo Japan or something in the news, and then it say that like there's like 60 people dead body showed up the beach that it's really local small town that I used to go to summertime. So I was shocked to see, okay, what's happened? And then I found that there's a tsunami and so many, things, destroyed this, the villages in the coastal area of Japan. And then luckily my home was okay. And then my family evacuated to a nearby elementary school. So they are safe. They're okay. But I was gonna go back to Japan, but all the people around here in New York told me that even though you go back to Japan, you're gonna just wait. You cannot go into the end. You're gonna be the one also. How can I say, burden for them instead of helping them, because I'm gonna need more like I'm gonna need a food or drink too. And so instead of doing that, maybe you should stay here and then do whatever you can support, to my hometown. So I gathered with my same hometown, the same people from the hometown, and then we did fundraising and kind of stuff, and then we sent money to Japan. But somehow I felt I had some kind of guilty that I didn't go back, and then I I wasn't sure if it was right decision, and I want to do more. And then like after 5 years, it's kind of getting, even though at the time we got so many support, but like after a couple of years, it's kind of getting all the news. And then of course there are a lot of other disaster in the world, and then so I felt that I'm gonna be selfish to talk about, okay, we still need help or kind of stuff. So we I okay, but since it's my hometown, I didn't want to forget about it. I cannot make it something never happened. So I wanted, instead of people to don't forget, this, tsunami, or don't forget the earthquake, I didn't want to say that. But instead, okay, let's make a film, because that's something I do, for the living. I make videos, and then that's I want to do, make a movie. So I kind of, and then at the time, I couldn't do like a fundraising. I couldn't continue fundraising because it's not my profession, and it's kind of really time consuming, and it's kind of sucking up my energy. So I didn't want to do that. But instead, if I do want to continue something, I better do like how can I say, something I'm good at, and then I can continue what I'm doing. So that's why I decided to make this movie. So first I wrote the rough draft in Japan, not in New York, and then I went to the location scout in Sendai. But I found out that it's like I was imagining all the location that I want to film, but when I go there, it was already 5 years ago. No, 5 years passed after the tsunami.
Right.
So I was hoping that something built up, but even after 5 years, there's nothing at all. There's no lights, there's no street lights, or no building at all. So it's like a flat. So I have to come back, and then I have to rewrite the story. And then so like 2 years later, I rewrite the story, and I went back, and I started casting, and then and I want to make this film with the people from same prefecture, same hometown. So cinematographer, and also actress, and all the other the sound people, a lot of crews from my hometown. And then I got the help from other people, other country, other city too. But most of my movie was made with the same people from the hometown. And at the time, I was gonna make a short film, like a 15-minute short film. So I did crowdfunding, and everybody, I want to make a short film. So I want to make a small, but once I started rewrite, and then I don't know, the story just keep on growing. And all the characters there are certain things that the characters want to talk. So I kind of start to put that in the story, and it's kind of getting longer. So like my cinematographer was like worrying, okay, you know what? You told me short film, and it's a 20 minutes film, but it looks like a 1 hour film. And how are you gonna do this? Okay, and then I was say, don't worry, I'm gonna cut it. Just cut it, and then like I can make a couple versions. So don't worry about it. And then even like I little by little I added a scene, but my cinematographer noticed. Oh, did you add another scene or something? And then he noticed, and then don't worry, it's gonna fit. And then after I shot everything, and I started editing, and I realized that I couldn't cut, so
Right. Yeah.
it's ended up almost like a 1 hour movie instead of the 15 minutes movie.
And honestly, after watching it, it's fitting. The 15 minutes, I don't think would have done the story justice. And, it's interesting because I saw that movie, and then I know like not too long afterward, there's a film on Netflix, Michihiro Fuji's film, The Parades, which kind of covers similar ground.
Okay.
Tsunami kind of stuff. I always thought, hey, listen, if you're in Chicago or wherever you're listening and you want to do a film festival, Last Passenger at The Parades double feature. I think that would be
great.
wonderful, because
That's
I think
great.
it's in some ways where The Parades was. I always kind of refer to The Parades as like the ending of Lost that we never got, because it's really kind of like, oh, I feel fulfilled now. I mean, I watched that show for 6 years. I'm like, yeah, and then I watched Parades, like, oh, okay, I feel better. It was because it's done wonderfully well, but yours is it's a very individual story. Where The Parades is kind of a group of people, and Last Passenger is just a relationship between a father and a daughter.
Yes.
Because it's so micro focused, it really pulls the feels out that you wouldn't get in, let's say, in another kind of like delivery of that story. So once again, great double feature, but
Thank you. Yeah,
and they're both excellent, and they're both, oh my gosh, they're excellent films. And
thank you.
and so where can we see? Is there any place we can see The Last Passenger? Because I don't want to give away too much of the story for viewers who haven't seen it, because there is a little bit of guesswork that happens with it.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if there's any place in America where they can watch this right now.
Actually, I think in the States, unfortunately, I don't think there's a way to watch it. If you have a VPN or something like that, then maybe I think I'm not sure if they're still playing, but it's being released in Japan, and they are in Amazon Prime or like other like platform, like a streaming platform in Japan. They are showing it. So if you are in Japan, they may able to see it in Japan right now. But in the States, they used to show in an airplane, like American Airlines or Japan Airlines. Those, like if you travel, then I gotta suddenly my old friend is like texting me like, oh, I watched your film in the American Airlines, and congratulations something. So I got a couple of those texts. So it was great moment to get those things and then get reconnected with all the friends. But otherwise, I'm not sure if you don't. Yeah, I don't know where we can show that in the States yet. Yeah,
we'll figure it out. I mean, like I said, so we can talk maybe a little bit more about the plot and whatever, but we want to keep it a little bit of a surprise, because it is, it's not like it's not super obvious how it plays out, but even still, it kind of doesn't matter, because the relationship between the father and daughter character is what really makes that work. And how did you find those two performers for those roles? They worked really well together.
Yeah, actually, the actress, the daughter actress, is from Miyagi, and then I was looking for I was looking for all the cast from Miyagi Prefecture, and then I went to try to get the film help from model agency, and one of the actually one. And then the model agency told me that there's actually one good actress. She is not living in Miyagi at that moment. She was in Tokyo. But but she was kind of like a AKB48 like idol. So I wasn't sure if that fits to my project. But
Right.
since I was referred, because it's more like serious drama, so I wasn't sure if the idol is gonna fit into that movie. But I want to see how she acts. So I asked if I can meet her before I going back to the States, and luckily she had a time before on the day. Actually, I catch the plane. Like the plane was like my flight was in the afternoon, and then she was available in the morning. So I went. In the morning, early morning, I left Miyagi, Tohoku to Tokyo, and then I met her in her office in Tokyo. And then but at the time I did some rehearsal, and then some scene, tried seeing out, and then she was ready. She was so good, and then so better than other actresses I've seen before her. So I was like, oh, I found that character there. So but since this is an indie film, so I wasn't sure if I can, hire her.
Right.
Yeah, but she really wanted to do it, and in the office, allow me, to appear in my film, whatever it is. They said it's okay, but she wanted to be in the film, so luckily I could get her. And then once she hooked up in this film, then I realized that okay, if she's gonna be in this film, I really gotta make, great. Actually, I was gonna shoot and edit by myself, but okay, I gotta get the whole crew to shoot this movie. So that I became a serious, and then so I also worked on another project with the cinematographer. He was really great cinematographer from Miyagi Prefecture, and I really wanted to ask him to do it. So I went to see him, and then look, I got this project, and then I really want you to shoot this movie with me. And then he said that, well, no, I don't want to do that.
Oh, why not? What was the
Yeah,
reason
what was
for
gonna
that?
happen?
Yeah.
It's because he said that I don't believe in. He said that I don't believe in movie can help anything at the real world, or like
Oh,
even that the disaster. So he didn't believe that. I was believing if by making this film, I thought it's gonna help.
right. Yeah.
To
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, it
but he
did,
said he
right?
doesn't be. Yeah, at
Eventually,
the
it
end,
did.
What
even
reminded
yeah.
people were forgetting, because I agree, because it's like you think about like horrific things that happen, like 9/11, America never
Yes.
forgot about. But I also think that sometimes when horrific things and events happen that are caused
Mhm.
by individuals and not actually God,
Yeah.
the individual ones tend to stick in our minds more, because I don't know, maybe we just
Yeah.
have somebody to blame.
Yeah.
But we think, and also too, maybe it's just how we focus on things. Hurricane Katrina got kind of forgotten about after a couple of years, but that also too, I mean, there's some
Yeah.
minority and race issues in America
Yeah.
that probably fed into that. But
Uh-huh.
regardless, even like the terrible earthquake in 2005, which I think was Indonesia. So it seems like natural disasters, like we're aware of them, and I know Japan gets hit more often with natural disasters. But you're right, because at that time, like everyone had kind of forgotten about it, and I remember really being concerned, because I was living in Seattle at the time when the when that earthquake hit, because there was that worry for a little bit that was the wave going to come all the way from the Pacific Ocean and hit us. And I mean, obviously it did not. And then I just remember watching the footage. That was the first time I realized that YouTube can give you news a lot faster than the news can.
Yes.
At that time, because people were just uploading the footage, and it was horrifying. And it's just, to this day, just some of the things they'd seen were just, it stick with me. So I know, like, I was one of the rare people that never forgot about that, but most people had, especially in the States. So I think, I mean, so obviously, so what happened with the cinematographer? Did he end up doing it, or did you have to get a new cinematographer?
And then actually, at the time I had a lunch. At the time, it was a lunch meeting with him. So we complete. I mean, I couldn't really get into that. Asking him. I didn't ever got to start. So we are casually talking about what the movie he likes and what I like and what kind of style he likes, and then over the lunch, and then. So when we ordered the dessert, I asked, pop up that question, and then he said no, and then the dessert came in front of us, and the ice cream came in front of us, and then, we are watching ice cream melting, and I don't know what to hear say, but I just started say, well, maybe I'm not sure if maybe I'm in a different state. I mean, because I don't know. I believe that it might help some way, and we never know. And especially at the time, I just kind of getting into the, how can I say, okay, in the, how can I say, I start visualize what's the psychology of the father figure, the character, and then I think this I like this project so much because he thinks this and this, and it might be, I don't know, it might be you don't know how you feel, but it's like this is a story about he's feeling this, and then that's why this happens, something like that. And then like I'm kind of getting emotional too, and I think maybe maybe some tears comes up or something, and he starts to say, "Well, I don't know, how I can help, but okay,
So you softened
let's."
him
Yes.
with the warmth of your feelings.
Yeah.
Yes.
He said, yeah, okay, let's see how it goes. Why not? Okay, I don't believe in that, but okay, let's see what I can do for you. And then, okay, then let's do it. And then, so tomorrow I'm gonna go to the, how can I say? I'm gonna go to the location scouting. So you wanna come? And then I will pay for the train trip to Miyagi. And we met in Tokyo. And then so okay, he said okay, and then he came along. And then that's how it started. But after I shot the movie, and then there's a first screening in Miyagi, like a couple, after I completed the film, and I invited him come to watch the film. I mean, to the screening, and then there's a magazine interview people, and then he did, actually they had an interview with me, and then cinematographer together, and then they pop that same question. So okay, so how you guys hooked up? And they tell this story, and then he was like, "Oh, really? I clearly said no to you, but you keep consistently keep on coming back to me."
Well,
And then I don't know how I ended up this project, but you just involved me into draw me into this project or something like that. But I told him, well, that's not true. You came along with my side, location scout. That's why you are here. And they said, oh,
well, but
it's
it's interesting because from what you told us, the story you told us now, I got the impression that you got him interested when you became emotional, right? And so
yes,
he understood the emotion of the story. And well, it tells you how important it is actually to tell stories and also to show your emotions and let's say even passion about what you're doing, right? So because it's if you hadn't continued over the melting ice cream, probably you wouldn't have done it with him.
No, I wasn't crying because watching the melting ice cream, but
Right.
Well, obviously it's a personal story, and you have,
Yeah.
even though you weren't there, you have obviously
Yeah.
ties to the region, and so
Yeah.
it's just natural. But I think also too, as artists, it's part of it, right? Like if we see that somebody is just doing this for the money or whatever, and it's a paycheck, then we'll do it if it's a good paycheck. But if somebody's passionate about the story, I think just naturally talent is interested in that, because in the end, that's why we do what we do. I mean, we could be lawyers, we could be doctors and stuff. Well, maybe not, because I should not be a doctor. I'm just not capable of that sort of thing. But in terms of being an artist and being in the arts, I think you are in the emotions business. You're in the business of
you're right.
expression. And if you're feeling a project, it's natural that other people would feel that too.
Yeah, you're right. And then there's I know it's time is kind of so passing so fast, but
I know, right? I told you this hour goes by fast.
Let me tell you one more thing. Okay, so after that, so I crewed up everybody, right? And then it was like my dream to make a movie about that hometown, and I just dream come true. And then 2020 March, I gathered everybody, and then I was ready to shoot. Then COVID hit in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
And then everybody said, "Are you serious? You're gonna do it?" And then there's no COVID patient in Miyagi. So, and then a lot of crew I have to bring from Tokyo. And the Tokyo was like, I think every day they have like almost 10,000 people or something getting
Right.
COVID or something.
Yeah.
So, and then when I moved to Miyagi, and then the Tokyo totally closed the city. I mean, they had a coffee or something like that. And then, so the Miyagi people are so worried. "Oh, why you have to bring, all those people crew from, Tokyo? And then, what if, we got, something, we're gonna be the cause of the spreading COVID, and then what you gonna do?" And then I thought about it, and because I'm saying that this is good for my hometown, but if I bring the COVID to the hometown, and it's kind of doing a bad thing, and then, of course I'm going to get the news, that okay,
Yeah.
this film could spread the COVID or something, and then no one's going to come to watch my film. So I had to give up. Okay, I have to give up I cancel the whole shooting, and then I pay some crew that, because it was too like more less than a week to film, so I have
Right.
to
Yeah.
pay something, and then so it was really hard for me to do it. But I really had to cancel the film, and then my film is indie film, and then I didn't pay much, and then there are so many people working for involving in the volunteer people, so I wasn't sure if they're gonna come back next time. I don't know when I can resume that film, but like almost 1.5 years later, I was so afraid that I started calling them, and then they miss even the cinematographer. After the COVID, I got, I lost so many jobs, and I gotta do my project, and I cannot do your work. That's understandable, So
Right.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. Even the actor and the actresses, and I wasn't sure if I can get the casting crew, and then also the filming crew I can get. But fortunately, like 90 to 90% people came back. So that was, I think, true miracle that
Yeah.
I can I complete this film.
Now, according to your trivia page on the movie, on Internet Movie Database, it says that it won the Best Indie Feature Award at the World Cannes Film Festival in 2023. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I thought so. I didn't want to assume, but I just saw it sitting there like, that's damn impressive.
It is.
I mean, it's not the Cannes Film Fest that you guys know. It's
No, it's still.
But you still, I mean, please forgive me for saying this, and I mean it in a very good way, that just like every person who was born and raised in Japan, you're being very humble now.
Okay, thank you.
By saying, oh, that's not the kind of Cannes festival, But, well, it is very impressive, that award. And congratulations on, getting it. Yes. So, yeah.
But actually, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah,
no,
the most thing I proud of is that I also got like six awards in a non-global film festival, and then I because the non-violent film festival,
right,
global, non-violent, and then I always film like, I don't know, to me like a super film, superhero films are kind of like a Marvel film. That's good, entertaining, but I want to do something like not like a killing somebody, or like action, like I don't know. It's just I don't know. Just I want to do something different way that impact society with non-violent way, so like peaceful way, but entertaining, and then something moving. That's I want, and so I wanted to show that. So it was really great to get that like 6 hour like best film, best music, and the best actress, and then best writing, screenplay, and I forgot one more, but so that was I was really honored to be recognized my work in a non-violent film festival.
Yeah.
And that night.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Speaking of the non-violence, because I do want to make sure we get to the other topics, which goes. And if we run over, by the way, we run over. There's not a time. There's not a stopwatch on this.
Right. Yeah. I just wanted to say that I believe that the pandemic was really a tipping point, because before that, and maybe halfway into the pandemic, you enjoyed the hero movies and the action movies and everything, but especially here in Japan, I have noticed that they still are here, but there is a heightened interest in human stories nowadays. Movies that tell personal stories, and they do not show much violence. And I think that's really a beautiful way to talk about humanity, because sometimes watching all those action movies gets tiring, right? Of course, they have their own value. I'm not saying that they are
Yes.
boring or
Bad or
whatever.
anything. Yeah.
But we are humans. We live ordinary lives, and we want somebody on screen with whom we can relate, right? And I
Yeah.
think that the pandemic actually was the tipping point, and we are once
You're
again back
right.
to that trend,
You're
especially here in
right.
Japan. I don't know how it is in the States, of course, because I'm not there.
It has. No, we have seen a diminishing returns on the kind of the superhero movies. I do think COVID was a part of it because, when people get sick, and that's just sort of in the zeitgeist, you can't really punch your way through that. But also, too, we have a 35-year counterculture cycle. Last one was
Yeah.
right.
1992,
Yeah.
1968. So we are kind of in the midst of that right now. And we're seeing a lot of interesting things happening in
Yeah.
film, independent films. So, and I think you're, obviously, you're a big part of that in a sense.
Yes.
There's the reason why is because when we saw that film, he was starting another film. And basically it's just so delightful. And I think also too, Maya, to your point, where people just want to kind of be delighted and they just want to find things interesting and they want some sort of positivity. The Ben 10 Route 66 project.
Yeah.
Basically a troupe of just the most delightful, fun performers that's based on traditional Japanese performances. Very colorful, very just entertaining. And you sent them down Route 66. How did this happen?
Yes, that's actually First of all, I did. It's the producer, Kono-san.
Oh yeah.
He is my friend, my good friend. He helped me a lot of screening my Last Passenger, and then he. First premiere in New York, he helped me to coordinate all the stuff, and then he set up the screening place, and then he really supported me. And then after the screening, we went to the bar, and then we did a kampai and then having a beer, and then we talk about, okay, so thank you so much, and then what you gonna do, and blah blah blah. And he started saying, you know what, this is rough idea, but I have an idea that I wanna do Chindonya, like old, like 170 years old history of the Chindonya. It's kind of diminishing, but it's oldest form of PR, PR or commercial style in Japan. And then they want to take them to Route 66 and then across the states, and it's gonna be fun. Like maybe they're walking in desert, or he started talking about like visuals, and I said, oh, okay, it's kind of, I've never seen that visual, so it's kind of quite interesting. And then besides, the Last Passenger is more like kind of emotional story, so I wanted to do something like a cheerful, totally opposite, like a fun and exciting movie. So I said, okay, why not? I can go along, and then let's shoot it. And so like casually we just agree. And then in the summer, and then Kono-san, he start to say that, okay, so we're gonna be really doing when you're gonna be available, and then we set the date, and then in the September, end of the September, okay, I can go. And then he's scheduled everything, and then we hit the road, and then we didn't have any scenario, screenplay, any idea, rough idea what we want to shoot, but we don't know how it's gonna be. But we all know that we're gonna have a Chindoya, put on the Chindoya on American street, and then we wanna see how people is gonna react to it. And then but at first, when I visualized it, it's gonna be colorful and cheerful, but I wanted to see some struggle in the States, because maybe people doesn't understand, and
Oh, you'll find struggle here. Making the expression for just people who are only listening to this. Oh boy. Go ahead, please continue.
Yeah. So I was hoping that I see some drama or something. But whenever we took them, they welcome them, and then they so excited to see them, and they cheer them up. So there's no drama or anything. It's just everything good to be true. Like they're having a good time. So it just everything went so smoothly, so well. So I was like, oh my god. So how am I gonna make it more interesting? Or how I can make a hook to this movie? And then, but eventually, first everything was like kind of set it up, because we took them to the place that we made appointment, and then they are all welcome. So we suggested them, okay, I'm not gonna help anything, so you like we take to the new place like like Oklahoma, and then you do whatever you do PR you want to do, and then see how it goes. And then but somehow they communicated, even though they can't speak in English, but somehow like or gestures, hand gestures, or like facial expression or whatever, they try to convey, and then they are showing what they can do. But most of the time, I think the good thing was that they play the music for band, and then it's like the drum, trumpet, saxophone, and so they play the music. And once they have like 500 songs music they can
Oh,
play.
wow.
Yeah.
So they can pretty much play anything, and if they listen one time, they can play anything. So even though they don't know anything, they have let them play some like a local music or something. They can play that. So that's kind of hooked up the people. So wherever they go, or like if they go to countryside, they play country road or something, or like so it's more like it's really fun, and then people start to dancing or something like that. So it was really fun to watch how their music can across the how can I say, across the culture, culture barrier or language barrier, and then they communicate with with the music. Like one time we went to Santa Fe, and then the El Mariachi was playing, so and then they joined the El Mariachi, and then they start to play together, and then audience was like so having fun, dancing, or clapping or something. So I see that power of the music was so great. It's kind of breaks all the everything, and they kind of get together with the music. So it was really great to present. I mean, I talk about some story, but if you watch the film, you'll see people. I mean, the power of the music, or that's really unite the people. I mean, it's not always not the fighting or like debating. It's I think more like separate people, but because of the I think the music is comes from our heart, and it's kind of kind of conveys their emotions and everything, and it's kind of unite the people together, and then that's really great to see, and then they prove that. So that I think it's non-violent film, but still I think you will see a beautiful scenery of the United States, beautiful scenery with the with the colorful bending people walking on the desert or something. But
Well, that's just it, right?
Yeah.
That's because, like, and by the way, for those who are listening, watching in, Bentenia66USA.com is the website. So, because the visuals really is what sells this thing.
Yeah.
Bentenia, BENTENYA 66USA.com. Because I thought two things. One is that in many ways, I think this project exemplifies a lot of things that I was, when I was in Japan doing just meetings and coffee talks and stuff, that, obviously our country's got some serious issues right now. Just being polite. But the one thing that many of our different sides agree on in this country, left and right, whatever you want to say, everyone likes Japan. I mean, that's the thing, that Japan and the likability of Japan and Japanese culture kind of cuts through our political discourse right now. And I think that in many ways, this documentary sort of exemplifies just sort of the pinnacle of, let's just send 8 very colorful Japanese women playing instruments and just send them to like the gritty road and just make everyone happy. That's it. I mean, that's basically what Japan seems to be doing right now. It's the purest essence of that the cool. Well, I don't know what you'd say the cool Japan movement, because that has some, like, it comes with some baggage, but just more the soft power of Japanese entertainment, and also to the fact that just the visuals, the idea of taking. I can't imagine what this footage looks like, because you when you think about Route 66, I'm sure it can be colorful in some points, but it's kind of a rustic. The whole thing feels very Wim Wenders to me. Taking colorful characters and sending them down a dusty road. I can't wait to see. Like, I know there's some photos, and there are photos around the website, so that gives us a little bit of a taste. But yeah, this just seems like such a and it's not out yet. This project we're still waiting for this project.
Yeah, that's really fantastic. I mean, like, combine like old American, nostalgic Route 66, and we combine old Japanese style of the music combined together, and then they kind of gelling together, and then it's. I think it's the power of the arts, So I want to, that's something we can do, It's not, that's why I'm really happy to see the result.
But Tenya comes to save America. They probably could do it. Actually, they're pretty impressive. So when are we now? Where are we at with the film? I know you're in the middle of like post-production with this right now.
Yes, we are almost near to a picture log. So when we done it, then we put the color grading, and then we put the music on it. But we want to have some key music that according along the like Route 6 music, and then or like Eagles, and kind of those like all the good songs we want to put in there too. But then we put Bentea recorded sound in Oklahoma, and then actually not Tulsa, and then they played those like a country road kind of stuff, so we can use that. But it's kind of a little bit nostalgic feel to it, but still kind of visually it's really brand new. So it's you feel like kind of, I don't know, it's like a, I don't know, interesting mixture of feeling.
Yeah, no, we can't wait to see it. I mean,
Thank
just
you.
and obviously with when it comes out, I'm not sure where the timeline is. We'll bring it back and we can talk about it some more.
Thank you. That's great.
The lessons learned. So
thank you.
So besides this project, I know you said you were thinking about working on something in Sendai.
Yes, Sendai project. Thank you for mentioning that. I'm working with the American screenwriter, and he is the one first think about inspired by the tsunami, and he was writing, like, I think 10 years ago he started like this project, and he was looking for another person, like a Japanese person, to support him, like, because it's set Sendai, and actually it starts from California, but the character goes to Japan, and then eventually they go to Sendai, and then so he was looking for somebody from that area, and then my friend kind of introduced me, okay, you because he knows my movie The Last Passenger, so he introduced him to me, and then he kind of we met, and then he explained to me what he wants to write, and then since it's about my hometown, I wanted to help him out. It's about American guy visit Japan, and then they have a countercultural experiences, and then it's about like American painter. He wanted like he hasn't have a like midlife crisis or something about painting, and then he goes to Japan, and he met this his relative. He's like half Japanese, I think, and then he goes to Japan and Tokyo and then Sendai, and then he experienced those things, and through those experiences he kind of realized what he really important to him or something like that. But it's more like you said, it's more like a Bender's feel to it, like how can I say, the perfect days. He likes the perfect days by Wim Wenders, something like that.
Your work does have that very, and I love Wenders. Wim Wenders is just amazing to me, and so you does have that sort of aesthetic. I mean, like a lot of the a little bit of Drive My Car, a little bit of like sort of like what you would call like modern Japanese filmmaking, where you take your time, which I think is just really delightful. Because like so many movies nowadays, it's just go go go. I mean, and what am I saying? Like the thing I wrote is like such a chatty Aaron Sorkin-esque thing. Like I mean, I'm part of the problem, but like in terms of what I liked about your work when I'd seen was that it does allow for that contemplation, which worked really well for The Last Passenger, and I would imagine it's going to work really well for this upcoming film.
Yeah. So hopefully, I want to make it right, because since it's it's about Sendai, so I want to support him, and then hopefully, we can make that film sometime next year, something like that. Yeah.
So how do you think your experience is? Because obviously you spend a lot more time in the States, and we've talked to different, we've had a lot of different guests on the show. Everybody's just been fabulous, and everyone brings in a different perspective. And I wanted to know your perspective. Like, obviously you're now on the outside looking into Japan. And I wanted to know a little bit about your experiences. Like, do you think you'd be making different films? Do you think your path would have been different had you stayed in Sendai? And what have you learned by going from, obviously Hawaii to, Los Angeles, USA, and then going to New York? Like, what have you felt that those experiences brought to the table, and your Japanese-ness? Obviously you are from Japan. So how does it all mix end up working for you and getting into this point today?
Actually, it's a good question, actually. I think, like, I don't know, even in New York, I mean, a lot of my friends, Japanese friends, is like, if they like the Japanese, if they like the screenplay or something, they always, not always, but some of them really emphasize the Japanese-ness. Like, they samurai, or like kamikaze, or like, they put the variation, but they try to, I think, put more like Japanese identity onto the screenwriting of film, and which is I don't personally like. I'm more like, I don't want to I want to make a film that it's not, it doesn't realize that, okay, the Japanese director shoot it or wrote it. I mean, obviously Last Passenger is set in Japan, but I want to make it more like, to me, it's I want to make a more borderless film, and it's kind of identify, let's say, it's not like too Japanese to I want to write. Like, even The Last Passenger, you say that I picked the Dora, not I didn't want to emphasize the disaster up front, but I'd rather focus on the father-daughter relationship, because that's more universal theme, and then so they can relate to that. Anybody, other country people can relate to that story. But and then, so if I want to make a film, that I think it doesn't matter. Like, it's more like I want to make more interesting core human relationships, not like, so I don't want to say like Japanese do this, Japanese do that, or something. Like, this is Japanese style. I don't want to do that, because to me it's more like, if you start doing that, it's more like mannerism. I don't like mannerism. It's more like, I think it's more like authentic to be like my own personal experience, or like like human experience, because like, I do experience sometimes, because of my Japanese, I don't know, Japanese-ness put me in some certain situation or certain position, but I think that's not interesting to me, but more like, I don't know, something, if I'm really doing something happy, or like something like enjoyable, like I do surfing, so that's why I got a sunburn. Like, I go to the beach every day, so that's I got something. But those surfing experience is like totally universal, and it's nothing to do with being in Japan. So, and then I'm making the like surfing culture in Rockaway documentary right now, and then so I'm featuring all the local people. So it's nothing to do with Japanese culture. But somehow I think the way I feel about it, or the way I observe it, maybe is a part of, rooted from Japan. Somehow it comes out. Yeah. So, but
very
that's
much
something I
so.
cannot reject. But
Yeah. But that's the beauty of it, because you don't have to be up front and center with your Japanese-ness, and still those values that you were raised with, they transpire in the story, and they're beautiful values without being intrusive, right?
Yeah.
So that's the point, because the father-daughter relationship is a universal theme, and everybody who has had a child, they know that, right? They can relate to it. And at the same time, those relationships are slightly different depending on the values that are prioritized in different countries.
Yeah.
And I think that your Japanese background comes through that, but it's so beautiful, so subtle, right? That
Yeah.
subtle is the beauty of the story and the beauty of the
Yeah, I
movie,
hope so.
of the
Hope
film.
so.
And it makes it even more likable, I think.
I hope so, yeah.
Yes, because it's not just like, okay, here we are, and this is how we see things. No.
Yeah.
It's just that, once again, the subtleness of the relationship,
Yeah.
everything that happens between them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
grew up with a lot of Southside Irish. You see where this is going in a second. And it's funny because like a lot of my Southside Irish friends, even my mom who loves Ireland, she finally went. And so a lot of times these Irish boys from Chicago go to Ireland thinking, yay, I'm Irish. And then they realize, oh no, I'm not that Irish. Like I am
Right.
cut of that cloth. But at the same time, the Irish people are like, no, you're an American. You're
Yes. Yeah.
And so, but at the same time, a lot of the conversations that my Irish friends and my mom would go have when they're in Ireland, a lot of it had to do with the sort of like the interest of perspectives, because yet at the same time you are the same cloth. You are the same. You are the same. You are the same. The same sort of awareness, the same zeitgeist.
Yeah.
And then, but at the same time, there's a different lens, and through those different lenses, I think some really fascinating, creative conversations happen. And I would imagine probably the same way with you, giving your New York lens, your LA lens, into growing up in Sendai.
Yes, I think it's just I just happened to realize that, like, Maya and Michael, you also in the same position as like me, Maya, especially if you are in Japan, you are like foreigner, right?
Oh, but I'm not Japanese. I'm like a little Filipino.
But you're kind of foreigner. I mean,
right. Yes.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like we are all foreigners, and then we kind of observing the different culture in a different way. We are not like totally into it. We kind of have a like kind of back up, and then sometimes I see that people doing funny stuff that they don't realize, but okay, we don't do that, but so those little things, I think we are like a observer, and I think that's kind of have a advantage as I think filmmaker.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I love Japan. I think Japan tolerates me because I'm just a big goofy American. One time I was in an elevator and we all got shoved in. It was like a bridal party, and I'm like the one white dude, American dude, and I'm just like, and I just kind of yelled, "Oki American Gene," which means large American. And I find that gets a lot of laughs, maybe a little uncomfortable, but it definitely got the whole elevator cracking up. So I always thought that was my get out of jail free card. If I felt like I'm really uncomfortable, and I can kind of tell, oh my gosh, I just made fun of myself a little bit, and works out.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I think the Japan loved you.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's a self-effacing humor. I think, like, Japan tends to be a very self-effacing culture, and the Midwesterners, we can be, we're just like, whatever, So I think there's a certain kinship to that. So hopefully, we'll see. But so you got a new film coming out. We don't know when Bentenia Route 66 is. Any ideas to when we might expect?
Actually, I think we are aiming at the next spring, by then, sometime next year. Yeah.
Wonderful.
And are you going
to
release it in the United States and in Japan, or first here and then there, or what plans do you have at the moment?
At this moment, hopefully we can release in some theater in Tokyo, and also we're gonna put in a film festival, of course, but we wanna the producer wants to tour on Route 66, so we want to show it some city, and of course, so we're gonna visit Chicago, of course.
Loves 66. Yeah, we have to start in Chicago. You need to talk to Sophia Wong, who runs the Asian Pop-Up Film Festival. If you can get it in by then, I don't know. I think she's running in February, March. So unless you can have it done by the deadline, I know she's accepting applications, and she's sort of like in the spring of 2026. I don't know. I think she's February, March is when they do that. So I don't know when you're going to have it cut.
Maybe it may close, but
but you should talk to Asian Pop-Up Cinema. Asian Pop-Up Cinema. Get a hold of her because if you can have the movie done by then, I mean, that would be your Chicago opening, and you just
great,
probably be perfect for it.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're making
So-
deals on this show. That's how we do things. It's the Chicago way.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're gonna visit. I mean, we definitely gonna visit Chicago, but hopefully we're gonna get into the film festival.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And here in Tokyo too, please.
Yes, definitely.
You got fans right here. So
Yes.
Thank you.
thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
And we're just happy to have you. We're happy to, and his work is amazing. The Last Passenger. If we can find a way to get it, make sure you check it out. And then obviously the Batania Route 66 project and this new Sendai film coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Takashi-san for being on our show today.
See you. Thank you. Thank you so
All right,
much for
everybody.
Thank you.
We'll see you all in 2 weeks. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you.